You know those quick weekend getaways that you have that totally just remind you of why you continue to do what you do, live where you live, and it just all starts to click and make sense. Well, we just recently went on a trip down into the Jemez Mountains, and it totally just clicked for me. It reminded me of why we continue to live here and why a lot more people are starting to call Albuquerque home. So in today's video, we're going to be going over the topic on why the easy access to nature and all the beautiful things of living centrally located here in the state of New Mexico and everything that it has to offer when you live here in this beautiful city. So hang tight, grab your pen and your pad because it's about to get fun. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from all the people that live in Colorado, people that live in parts of Texas, and even some people that live in like Montana and all these other places, and a few people from California. But being centrally located in the state of New Mexico in Albuquerque has its perks, especially when you are a big outdoor person like I am and you really just want to be able to get in your vehicle and travel less than 2 hours and be in the middle of the mountains with no cell service and just pretty much be off grid and disconnect for a weekend without having to deal with a ton of traffic, having to pay so much money just to get out there, and really just almost do it for free. Now, being centrally located, you're going to be an hour and a half away from Jemez and all the mountain ranges out there. You're going to be about 45 minutes away from Santa Fe and the National Forest out there. And you're also going to be about 2 hours away from Taos and all the great things northern New Mexico has to offer. Now, Farmington, Las Cruces, Ruidoso, they're about the same. When it comes down to it, the driving experience to get to these places, you can make it even a day trip. I have before. Going up to Taos to show houses to a few clients just because they were looking for a new cabin was an easy day trip for me and my dad. We even stopped to fish. How cool is that? If you are interested in that type of lifestyle and you've been contemplating on whether to live in like Las Cruces or Albuquerque, I can tell you that living in Albuquerque is going to have way more perks than Las Cruces. And this is not to hate on Las Cruces because you're really about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from White Sands, Ruidoso, and some other great areas that you can go and enjoy and be in the outdoors. But if you are trying to get more bang for your buck, living in Albuquerque is going to be that place for you. Look, I enjoy the city life and all the amenities just as much as the next guy, but if you're ready to have a place where you can go outside and enjoy the nature and the outdoors at pretty much at an ease, then I'd love to help you out. And if this is your first time tuning into the Living in Albuquerque channel, welcome. My name is Eli. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell down at the bottom. That way you never miss out on videos like this where I go over different topics about living here in Albuquerque and New Mexico all together. And if you're ready to call New Mexico home and you want to figure out what it's going to take to get you down here, as much as I love doing these videos, I would love to also help you out with your real estate needs. And that number popping up on the screen here is my direct line. Feel free to call or text me at any time because we're helping people just like you relocate down to Albuquerque and New Mexico and call this place home for the long term. So if you're ready, call or text me at any time because I'm excited to help you out. But let's get back into the video. I noticed something over the weekend that the disconnect was real. Being able to just put my phone down, not have to worry about who's calling, who's texting me. And this is nothing against anybody that's reaching out because I love helping you guys out. But as busy as we are and as much as I do for the channel, for Instagram, and for our business, I need a mental reset as well. And to be able to see how easy it was to do that, to just drive an hour and a half away from Albuquerque, from our house, to be able to go and camp for free, essentially, it really opened up my eyes to the whole thing of why people call this place home. Because being able to do that, even when you live here in the city, you know, going down to the Bosque or going down to the Sandia Mountains, it's super easy to do. Now, that disconnect and that mental health is super important. I know it is nowadays more than anything else. The mental health conversation is a big one, and we won't get into that one because that's not what we do. Just understand that I, as your professional real estate broker here in Albuquerque and the whole state of New Mexico, I also am a human. And I also understand where you're coming from when you feel that stress and the anxiety of the overwhelming noise in the city. I'm sure you guys can hear the cars in the background, and that constant noise, that constant strain, and the constant people, it tacks on a lot of stress to somebody. And if you're that type of person that just wants to be able to break away from all that without really having to plan anything and just disconnect, you know, on a random Friday or a random Thursday, you can. And when you're out there, believe it or not, as much people as we see go out there, even this past weekend, there were people camped out everywhere. The spaces were big and the space was like widely available. Like there was a plethora and an abundance of places for us to be able to camp out and enjoy what this easy access to nature has to offer. You know, I find it funny that people think that doing all this outdoor stuff is actually pretty expensive, and I don't see it. Unless you're into like all the fancy gear and getting the name brand stuff, then that's when it can get expensive. If you're just trying to get out into nature, you're trying to escape the city, you're really just trying to do it for a day, it's gonna cost you nothing. Maybe just a couple of bucks just to fill up your tank, just to get there. But outside of that, unless you're glamping and hooking up to all the utilities that they got there, which even that costs a low fee. I think the highest I've seen in some of these campgrounds is about 20 bucks a night. You're not gonna be spending a whole lot to go and do these types of activities and have these outdoor adventures. So with that being said, if you're worried about your budget and how much it's gonna cost you to do all this, the upfront cost may be a little bit because you're trying to get all that gear, but if you have all that stuff already, you can just pack up and go today. Literally, you can get off of work, get out there in an hour and a half and go enjoy the rest of your night. And then you could possibly even wake up super early and drive back into town and get to work, right? Or get home, take a shower, whatever you gotta do. It's very doable. It's very feasible. I know a ton of people that do it. I've even had clients that came into town and before they purchased a house, they spent their whole week here camping next to the Sandia Mountains and would go to the gym and shower and buy themselves a good meal and go on with their day. But they really enjoyed how easy it was for them to do that without any issues. Now, there's a cool thing about living in Albuquerque and traveling to these places that not a lot of people are talking about, and that's the traffic. Usually when you live in a major city like Denver or Phoenix, traveling outside of the city is gonna be a nightmare because you're gonna have to deal with all that traffic. You've added another 2 hours to your whole trip. Us even towing a big fifth wheel behind our truck took us about an hour and a half. Now, usually on average, it takes us about an hour and 20, about an hour just to get there. So with hindsight, you aren't going to be spending a whole lot of time in traffic when you're trying to do these kinds of things, because who wants to deal with that, right? Who wants to get away, escape? Like, that's the whole point, right? You're trying to get away from all the noise, all the traffic, and then having to deal with that before you go and do those things. It's kind of annoying in my opinion. So if you are worried about the type of traffic that you're going to be dealing with when it comes down to getting outside of the city, you're not, unless it's a holiday weekend. But that's to be expected because everybody's trying to do the same thing. So keep that in mind. If you are going to be traveling outside of the city just to go out and enjoy nature, you're not going to be dealing with a ton of traffic. Now, let's say you want to do this one afternoon, you get a wild hair and you decide to go out and go camping for the evening, or just go and fish or go and hike or do whatever it is that you're going to do. The culture here in New Mexico is that we enjoy what we have because it's super easy to do. Like, if I wanted to just call it a day and go out into the mountains and go hike, go fishing, and take my kids and my wife out to nature without having to stress about being on time for dinner, I can do that, right? Because it's super easy to do. I already know that there's not going to be any traffic heading up there. I know that there's not going to be a lot of people out there, so being able to do the activities that we want to do, we can do them right away. And we can just get a quick escape without having to worry and hassle about always being on time. So if you're that type of adventurous spirit, you're that type of person that really enjoys, doing those kinds of things at a, wild stint, you're going to be able to do that. Even if you just want to go about 10 to 15 minutes away up into the Sandia Mountains or into the Bosque, like super easy for everybody to do here. And that's the whole culture of New Mexico, is enjoying our environment, enjoying everything that this great place has to offer without having to stress about all the city nuances. Like, if we wanted a break, we wanted a reset, we can do that every day. We can do that once a week. Whatever your schedule allows, you can do that. Now, here's my notes as a father. Doing all this is just super easy. Spending more quality time with my family, not having to worry about getting there within, 6 hours, or having to be stuck in traffic, having no stresses on me, being able to just go out into nature and have no phones, have no cell service, no kids on tablets or anything like that. Just made it a lot easier for us to spend quality time together. And that's what a lot of people are moving down here for. They're ready to get away from all that. They want to be able to pretty much flip the switch on and off when they do that. And for us us. That's why we continue to stay here, because it's super easy to do that. I don't have to plan out this whole master plan of how I'm going to keep these kids busy and what to do. They pretty much kept themselves busy, and we had so much going on at the campground with friends and family that we didn't have to bother, and they didn't bother either. And for us to go out and shoot BB guns, ride dirt bikes, or just go out on a hike and go fishing, it was super easy to do, and they were up for it, because what else were they gonna do? Creating core memories, spending more time with family. And the cool thing is that one of our actual clients turned family actually went out with us, and that's super cool for us to be able to, share with you, because that's how friendly the people are here. If you're cool, if you're down to earth, and you mesh well, we'll invite you out to go camping with us. It's a true story, and it's happened twice already, and we love these people, the Waldens. They're part of our family now, and we just enjoy having them come along with us, because they just make it that much more fun. So if you're worried about the culture, the lifestyle around doing all these different things, take it for somebody who actually lives here and preaches about all these different things that we're doing, because it's very true. Now, I hope that really helps you with the decision making when it comes down to calling New Mexico home or calling Albuquerque home, because the whole outdoor experience and the adventurous souls like me really get attracted to this place because of that. It's super easy to go out into nature. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. And a majority of the time, these types of activities are old school, right? It really is about spending more time with your loved ones, getting that quality time back, getting mental resets, and just connecting with nature again. So if you're ready for that and you're ready to call New Mexico home, that number popping up in the screen is my direct line, because as much as I love doing these videos for you, I would love to also help you out with your real estate needs. So call or text me at any time. Let's chat about what areas are going to best fit your needs. Do you want to live closer to Jemez? Do you want to live closer to Pecos? Do you want to live closer to Ruidoso? I don't know. Maybe Taos is your flavor. We are able to help you find a great home in these cities and in these areas, just so you can get that easy access to nature. But I'm gonna head back to the office. As always, guys, we got a ton of stuff to take care of today, especially coming back from a 3-day weekend trip out in the mountains. We got a lot to catch up on. So call or text me at any time. I'd love to help you out. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.